About what? I'm not about what?
You don't want to fight.
You said I'm not about what?
You don't want to fight.
Man, go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Go ahead.
You dreaming, man. You talking in your dreams, man.
About the Terence Crawford fight. I'm tired of answering questions about it. He already said millions of times that he not fighting me or looking my way, so I'm just tired of answering them questions, you know. And if a fight happened, it happened. You know, I wanted it to happen, but if not, yeah.
Like right now, you got Boots Ennis in your weight class.
Definitely.
What do you think about him?
Oh, he's very, very talented. He's unproven, but he's very talented.
Yeah.
You know, the eye test tells it all. You know, he's got the it, you know, but we haven't seen him against any elite fighter. We've never seen him tested. So until then, you know, we just going to keep saying, oh, Boots, 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 until he meet that fighter that's going to.
Jaron, Boots Ennis, and Terence. Bud Crawford came face-to-face during a live interview, creating an intense atmosphere. Boots wasted no time making his intentions known, declaring that he is ready to move up to 154 pounds and take on the biggest challenges. Crawford, however, quickly responded, stating that at this stage of his career, his focus is solely on securing the biggest fights the sport has to offer.
Consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight.
Nope. I ain't going down 154.
Bud turned up the heat when he questioned whether Boots had faced the level of opposition needed to prove he belongs among boxing's elite. The comment immediately caught fans' attention, as it felt like more than routine trash talk. In that moment, it sounded as if Crawford had issued a direct challenge and put Ennis on notice.
Devin Easy, you could have fought me.
You jumped up out of my sanction body to go fight in the IBF. So what I know? If it don't matter, catch up.
Yo, he picked Evan
Catch up.
Evan Easy was way under.
You just said it don't matter. Catch up. I'm talking about before that.
He not about it. We already know he not about what he's talking about.
I'm not about what? I'm not about what?
You don't want to fight.
You said I'm not about what?
You don't want to fight.
Man, go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Go ahead.
You dreaming, man. You talking in your dreams, man.
Crawford made it clear that he is only interested in the biggest challenges, while Boots showed he is done waiting for opportunities and ready to prove himself. Their tense exchange left fans believing that a future showdown could become one of boxing's biggest events. As the debate heated up, Boots Ennis stepped in, ready to defend his son and share his own thoughts on the growing rivalry.
Man, listen closely. Make that fight. You know, we want that fight. You know what I mean? I said, you know, we wanted him or either Spence. It didn't make no difference as long as we get the fight. We'll see where we come. Right now, we ain't worrying about Crawford. We're going to clean 147 now, then we're going to move to 154. If he there and he got a belt, we coming after him. Simple as that.
Boots made it clear he was not holding back. He insisted that neither he nor Boots had ever avoided Crawford, even joking that the only thing he refuses is turning up the thermostat when the electricity bill gets too high. With his trademark old-school boxing mentality, Boots challenged the narrative surrounding the fight, arguing that if Crawford truly wanted to face Boots, he could have reached out directly instead of letting the message pass through multiple people.
So yeah, we're going to talk about it and we're going to discuss what we're going to do with Terence and Boots. That's what, you know what I mean? I said, yeah, well, if you want to fight, just let me know. That's just what Steven said, right? And they said, well, we'll call you later on. Never called him back. That's what happened. So they trying to say that we never turned the fight. I talked to Terence last night. We never turned the fight down. We've been wanting to fight Terence.
Boots also pointed out that Crawford chose to fight Avanesian at a time when a matchup with Boots could have been made. In his view, Crawford opted for the easier route rather than taking on a bigger challenge. The comment immediately sparked debate among fans, who ultimately just want to see the best fighters face each other. And if Crawford and Boots ever do meet in the ring, many expect an explosive fight rather than a cautious 12-round chess match.
You could have fought us, but you're going to fight Avanesia. And then I said, Avanesia, you could have fought us. And then Terence said, well, Boots could have been number one. All you had to do is call us. We would have took that fight. You didn't have to fight Avanesia. Avanesian, whatever.
Avanesian rank in the WBO?
Way behind us. You know what I mean? So if you really wanted to fight us, you could have fought us. That's what I...
After Boots made his case and questioned why Crawford chose the Avanesian fight instead of pursuing Boots, another respected voice entered the discussion. Roy Jones Jr. shared his perspective, bringing the insight and credibility that only a Hall of Fame fighter can offer. Whenever Roy speaks on boxing, fans pay attention, knowing his opinions are backed by years of elite-level experience inside the ring.
What is Boots versus Terence Crawford? What does that look like?
I don't know yet, because we haven't seen Boots in against a guy that has touched him good enough to really test his chin. So we don't. That's the only thing we don't know about him yet. We don't know if he can take the real punch yet, because we haven't seen it. But as far as the skill goes, he got everything. And that fight could be a very difficult fight, because he has everything.
Roy Jones Jr. acknowledged that Jaron Ennis clearly has strong talent, speed, and natural ability, but raised a key question about whether his chin has truly been tested at the highest level. But he pointed out that while Boots looks sharp and explosive, real judgment only comes when a fighter can absorb clean, hard shots from an elite puncher like Terence Crawford. Until that happens, he suggested, there's still uncertainty about just how deep Boots' toughness really goes.
The guy is talented and has the skill level that Boots has. Anything can happen, but don't get it wrong, Bud has that skill level too, so great.
Jaron Ennis has looked nearly untouchable so far in his career, but Terence Crawford represents a completely different level of challenge. Against a fighter like Crawford, skill alone is not enough. Winning would require perfect timing, patience, and mental toughness over every round. If this matchup ever becomes reality, it would answer more than just where Boots stands among the elite. It would also determine whether Crawford adds another defining chapter to his legacy, or if a new generation begins to take over at the top of boxing. Either way, fans would be fully invested, because fights like this are exactly what make the sport so compelling.
The reality is, Jaron Ennis didn't force his team to make this fight and say, listen, Steven, I'm signed to you and Showtime. I'm not signed to the PBC and Al Heyman. You need to do what's best for my career and make this fight happen. And he didn't do that. And the rest is history. Terence Crawford moved on.
Roy Jones Jr. praised Jaron Ennis as a complete fighter, but still questioned how his chin would hold up under elite pressure. Timothy Bradley Jr. added that people should not rush to conclusions, saying that even Terence Crawford still has major tests ahead. He explained that true greatness comes from taking on the most dangerous challenges and consistently proving yourself against top-level opposition.
Just feel that Jaron Ennis against Terence Crawford is the fight. And that can be at 54, it can be at 60. You know, obviously we've got Lima to take care of first, but that for me is one of the great, crossover fights, because Boots is the changing of the guard guy. And Crawford's the guy that's been there and done it all and just proved, that he's still very much...
Timothy Bradley Jr. makes a fair point here. Terence Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez was a major milestone, but moving up in weight to 168 or beyond brings a completely different level of danger. At that stage, it's not just about skill. It's about whether Crawford can handle naturally bigger opponents while still outthinking and outboxing them. Bradley isn't dismissing Crawford's greatness. In fact, he's adding to the excitement by highlighting how serious these challenges are. When a former champion points out potential risks, it only makes the idea of these legacy fights even more compelling for fans.
Back to Benavidez. Damn, if Benavidez come back down to 168, man, that's another crazy matchup for Terence Crawford. Because, again, look, with the skill set of Crawford, and everything else he brings, right? These guys have skills too, and they bigger than he is. See, and that's difficult. That's going to be real.
Timothy Bradley Jr. also made a subtle remark toward Floyd Mayweather Jr., advising him to stay relaxed and simply enjoy the moment. It came across as calm, but still carried a clear message without being too direct. Did I end the bigger picture? Terence Crawford is in a rare position where the boxing world watches him closely no matter what, because he continues to take on challenges many fighters avoid. That's what defines the sport, facing the toughest opponents instead of the easiest paths, and proving whether a fighter truly belongs at the highest level.
So, I mean, look, if Crawford can go down and face that dude, bro, man, whoo, Crawford's legacy, everybody will be tuning in just to see Terence Crawford's greatness, because he's a mega star now. So it don't matter who Terence fight. Everybody gonna be tuning in to see the greatness of Terence.
No, I said it's not crazy because I predicted. I said Canelo was going to get old in the ring that night. No disrespect to Crawford. He did a good. Crawford could have stopped him. He could have. me being a coach and watching how the fight was going on, he could have stopped him. And I know he's saying it in his mind, but he was being humble of Canelo. He was being humble, and it was a great fight, and it was good talk for the boxer.
Calvin Ford joined the discussion after Timothy Bradley Jr.'s comments and gave a firm take on the fight. He said Terence Crawford had the ability to stop Canelo Alvarez, but instead chose a more controlled and measured approach. From Ford's perspective, Crawford looked so dominant that it seemed like he was holding back, managing the fight with calm control rather than forcing a finish. He credited Crawford's elite ring IQ, noting how he stayed composed, read Canelo's attacks, and responded with perfect timing throughout the fight.
The generation from Floyd's generation to this generation didn't get to see it come. That's just like we never get to see Michael Jordan play, right? But we remember when he used to play. Come on. So
we're seeing all these crazy exhibitions. Maybe we see Floyd and Terence in an exhibition. That'd be something crazy as well.
Just to have two great guys that completed a lot of things in their life of boxing and come together and just give the fans something to talk about.
Calvin Ford praised Terence Crawford as the fighter of this era, suggesting he has carried forward the modern legacy of greatness after Floyd Mayweather Jr. He also raised the idea of a possible Floyd versus Crawford exhibition, a matchup he believes would spark massive interest due to its high-level technical appeal. Ford added that Crawford's success goes beyond just winning fights, pointing to his complete control in the ring, round-by-round dominance, and ability to dictate fights without forcing unnecessary risks.